in the Oval Office. When I became president, I was given a bad and very complex hand, but I fully knew what I was getting into. Big and intricate problems. Terrorists who slaughter innocent people will find no glory in this life or the next. They are nothing but thugs and criminals and predators and, that's right, losers. Ultimately, it is up to the people of Afghanistan to take ownership of their future, to govern their society, and to achieve an everlasting peace. We are a partner and a friend, but we will not dictate to the Afghan people how to live or how to govern their own complex society. We are not nation building again. We are killing terrorists. The next pillar of our new strategy is to change the approach and how to deal with Pakistan. We can no longer be silent about Pakistan's safe havens for terrorist organizations, the Taliban, and other groups that pose a threat to the region and beyond. Pakistan has much to gain from partnering with our effort in Afghanistan. It has much to lose by continuing to harbor criminals and terrorists.
Hello, class. My name is Tessa Ray Nelson, and I am doing this podcast on current and future U.S.-Pakistan relations. So, to understand our future Pakistan relationships, I think we need to go and look at the past relationships that we've had with Pakistan. And so we're going to look at the past tensions, Pakistan's efforts in nuclear power, post 9/11 Pakistan-U.S. relations, foreign policy with the Obama administration, the Haqqani and the NATO forces, and Trump's current stance and its effects on the situation. More intricate relations between the U.S. and Pakistan started in the 1980s when the U.S. gave funding and arms to Pakistan to help train the Mujahideen that fought the Soviets in the Afghan-Soviet War. But then in the 1990s, the Afghan-Soviet War ended and the U.S. just kind of withdrew from the region. Pakistanis viewed this as, complete abandonment, which fed to the belief that the U.S. uses Pakistan and then betrays it. So this was very critical in the beginning of the U.S.-Pakistan relationship. After the U.S. pulled out of Pakistan in the 1990s, they discovered that Pakistan had a nuclear device, and this led the United States to cut off military and economic aid to Pakistan after the war was over. The U.S. decides to ask for the support of Pakistan on the war on terror after the 9/11 attacks. Pakistan agrees to join the United States efforts, but only if we begin giving the aid redacted after discovering their nuclear device in the 90s. We agreed. In the mid-2000s, Pakistan begins to struggle with the Taliban in their own sovereign land and insurgency in their country. Current Pakistani perspective on the war on terror and getting involved is very negative. Prime Minister Imran Khan said this about the war on terror. Pakistan, by joining the U.S. after 9/11, committed one of the biggest blunders. 70,000 Pakistanis died in this. Some economists say we had 150 billion, some say had 200 billion lost to the economy. On top of it, we were blamed for the U.S. not winning in Afghanistan. Some may ask, what is the Haqqani exactly? Well, the Haqqani is specifically a network of Afghan guerrilla insurgent groups that use asymmetric warfare to fight against U.S.-led NATO forces and the government of Afghanistan in general. And so towards the end of the Obama administration, the U.S. found out that Pakistan was funding and providing for these Haqqani terrorist groups. And it was considered a Taliban-affiliated network, and so the Obama administration decided to withhold aid from Pakistan for that reason. Now what begins is what some people consider the financial aid game, because the reason why it's called the financial aid game is because of the stopping and proceeding with aid with Pakistan continually and constantly. Trump began to put down a very firm foot and firm line on Pakistan's financial aid. He said, quote, "The United States has foolishly given Pakistan more than $33 billion in aid over the last 15 years, and they have given us nothing but lies and deceit. Thinking of our leaders as fools, they give us safe haven to the terrorists we hunt in Afghanistan no more." Trump is specifically talking about the Haqqani and how they have been allowing that to continue and supporting it while the United States has been providing Pakistan with aid under the assumption that Haqqani have been ceased to be supported. Pakistan defiantly turned to aid from China and Saudi Arabia. Their attitude reflected the two countries' very different goals regarding Afghanistan, and this was basically summed up by General Kayani about the U.S. relations and aid for Pakistan. He said, "How long are you staying this time? Because you come and you go. If you think we are going to turn the Taliban and Haqqanis and others into mortal enemies of ours and watch you walk out the door, you are completely crazy. Are we hedging our bets? You bet we are." However, since the hard stance, Pakistan has developed a deep financial crisis and is basically bankrupt. Foreign exchange reserves are down to barely a couple of months of import, and that's because of a $1 billion emergency loan from China. The level of imports have been a result of Islamabad's commitment to China's Belt and Road Initiative, of which the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor is a major part. Pakistan has been forced to accept a $6 billion bailout from the IMF, which is the International Monetary Fund, just to alleviate its economic situation. These loans come with conditions that Pakistan may find difficult to meet, and Pakistan requires U.S. support to continue to receive international finance. The next question that we have is, why does the United States need Pakistan in the first place? Clearly, Pakistan needs us more than we need them. They're on the brink of economic collapse because we haven't been giving them aid. But why do we need them? And it is because we need them in order to get ourselves out of the Afghanistan conflict. The American military intervention in Afghanistan has been going on for 18 years, and the only way that this can end is if the Afghan government and the Taliban reach an agreement that will allow us to withdraw our forces without loss of face, in a sense. The U.S. Special Envoy has been negotiating with the Taliban for over a year to try and arrange a withdrawal from Afghanistan that doesn't really necessarily look like a defeat. The U.S. needs Pakistan to act as a facilitator in this process because of Islamabad's leverage with the Taliban and the Haqqani. It needs to persuade Pakistan and the Taliban to negotiate with the government for a future dispensation in Afghanistan that the U.S. can live with. Pakistan has to be willing to assist in this. One thing that many politicians are concerned about is the possibility that the U.S. and Pakistan relationship could worsen because of the Trump administration. They have threatened to cut off aid with further actions, such as rescindicating Pakistan's major non-NATO ally status and basically declaring Pakistan a state sponsor of terrorism and isolating Pakistan diplomatically and politically. They are worried that that could fail the relationship. However, the relationship between Pakistan could improve if the U.S. seeks to develop a civilian relationship with Pakistan and their government instead of focusing on the military. This would more secure the ability for us to pull out of the Afghan situation with Pakistan's aid.